Alright, good morning, family. Alright, welcome to another edition of Millionaire Economic News. Alright, we're going to get it started, family. Alright, let's get it. Alright, first of all, we're going to take a look at CNN Business. This is pre-market. Alright, looks like the futures are all up. The S&P is up at just over 0.5% at plus 1975. That is up. The NASDAQ is up as well, too, just over 0.5%. At up plus 56.75. The Dow was up just over 0.5% at plus 171 points. All right, family. So right now the markets are set to open up today, and so we'll go ahead and switch down. We'll look at some currencies over here. The currencies, Canadian dollar is down at about 0.2036. To about at a price to buy Canadian dollars US is about 0.7386. United Kingdom, the pound, that's England. United Kingdom, the pound is up about 0.2134% to about $1.25.77. All right, the euro is up at about 0.2566%, and the Japanese yen is up about, it's just a little bit up on the 1%. All right, it's barely up at about 0.0093%. All right, family. All right, the markets, the overseas, because most of these markets, the Nikkei 225, that's Nikkei is Japan, she is down just over 0.5%. The Hang Seng, that's the Hong Kong exchange, she is up just over 0.5% at 0.61. The FTSE 100, that is England. So if you're a FTSE market, that is the English market, she is up just over 0.5%, just about 3/4 of a way to full 1% at about, and it's moving higher as we speak at about plus 0.79. All right, the DAX, that's the German market, she is up at about 0.5%. All right, at plus 0.50. All right, let's take a look at some of the commodities. Light crude is down at about negative, just went unchanged, and natural gas is down, but it's up at about plus 1.36%. Gold is down at about 0.29% to about $1,731.40 per ounce, and corn is down negative 0.45% to about $332.75 a barrel. Bushel. Sorry about that, bushel. All right. So we'll go switch over to seekingalpha.com. Okay, and we'll take a look at some of the which down here. Some of the cryptos. Bitcoin is unchanged. Ethereum is up 0.60%. Tether is unchanged, 0.0%, and Bitcoin Cash is up about 1.3%. Alrighty. Alright, family. So let's go ahead and get into some news. Alrighty, and this is kind of a big one here, family. They said this. I've been following this story since it came out last week on Monday, and it says alert: banks need $3.7 trillion in bailouts that night. They needed that money to survive, to be able to open up the next night. So last Monday on June 8th, the banks needed $3.7 trillion at night in repo to keep going. Repo doesn't mean reproduce; it means repurchase. That means the banks are going to the Fed, the Federal Reserve, the Central Bank of the United States, or Rothschild Bank, and basically saying, "Hey, we bought all these bonds, these treasuries and securities, and we gonna need some cash. We're cash crunch." So the Fed went in and basically goes in and says, "Okay, we'll buy them. You're gonna give us the money back tonight, the next night." Okay, fine, good to go. So they gave them the money, and then the banks have to come back the next night with them, ready to give them the money. But what's happening is that the banks are constantly coming back every single night saying we're in a credit crunch. Well, people fail to understand there is a margin call for the banks. Their bad debts have come due. They owe and they need to pay. They need the money then and now. All right. So we've been following this story ever since last Monday. Banks need $3.7 trillion dollars in bank bailout money that night. Unfortunately, family, looks like the banks have got their money because the banks are still operating. They've been operating in the red for years now, and it's just not seeming to come into the head. The Federal Reserve is buying everything: corporate bonds, junk bonds. They buying every single thing in their mama to keep this economy going. All right, family. All right. After barely seeing utilization of much for April and May, the Fed launched unlimited quantitative easing. In the past 3 weeks, there has been a clear rising trend in usage of the Fed's overnight repo operations, on which Friday rose to the highest since the March crisis, hitting a 1.6 billion, 106.25 billion alongside a 53.25 billion in 20-day repos. And early Monday saw, this is on June 8th, family, early Monday saw another 67.05 billion in overnight repo, according across the both TYS and MBS. There was some debate about the cause of this apparent tightening of financial conditions. The simple explanation is the Fed continues to shrink its daily POMO, which this week averaged just 4.5 billion per day. Dealers had to find some other means to extract liquidity and are increasingly turning to the Fed's repo operations. Banks are hurting. Everybody's hurting, so now they're running to the Fed to help them bail them out. All right, family? All right. So, we're switching over to zerohedge.com. Bank gold ETFs inflows break yearly record in just 5 months. All right, family? All right. Okay. All right. Holdings in gold-backed ETFs charted another milestone high in May as inflows of dollars in dollar terms have already set a yearly record just 5 months into holding. Remember, ETFs are electronically traded funds, family. So you're not physically holding your gold. You just have it. Say like you have a paper with you. You have a piece of paper say you own this much amount of gold. So there's a big difference between physically holding it and having an electronic traded fund. All right. All right. Global funds added another 154 tons of gold to their holdings, boasting the total record of 3,510 tons, according to the latest data released by the World Gold Council. All right. All right, we're going to switch down here. North American firms led regional inflows for the second straight month and hit all-time highs in May. Funds based in North America increasingly holdings by 102 tons. North America funds now hold 1,815 tons of the yellow metal, surpassing the previous high of 1,736 tons charted in December 2012. All right. European funds flows 45 tons. Asia funds, primarily based those in China, added their holdings as well, with the inflow of 4.8 tons of gold. All right, of the yellow metal. All right, remember they're not reporting every single thing. They're just reporting is by continent, by what they seem to say continents. So individual countries are not posted here. All right, family. All right, they give some reasons for the factor of the gold ETFs going. All right, remember ETFs is essentially paper contracts, electronically traded funds. You have a piece of paper saying you own this much. All right, they give some excuses for the tension, COVID-19, tension between U.S. and China. Labor market's challenging, not seeing generations. The U.S. unemployment is already at 14% and may soon reach levels last during the Great Depression in the 1930s. We now know that if you've been paying attention, family, that instead of 14% unemployment, we've been sitting at a roughly over 20% employment, 20% plus unemployment for like a few years now, and they're just now trying to report the stats. All right. We're switching over to another troubling issue, family. AT&T plans to cut thousands of jobs. Store closures, company tells union. So they've told their union they plan on cutting some jobs. All right. This comes from Reuters. This is breaking about a few hours ago. AT&T Inc. plans to cut more than 3,400 technicians and clerical jobs across the country over the next few weeks. The wireless carrier told its main labor union, the Communications Workers of America, on Tuesday, that was yesterday, family, That the U.S. telecom and media giant also plans to permanently close over 250 stores, which would impact about 1,300 retail jobs. The union says. AT&T in a statement that the novel coronavirus pandemic and lockdowns to curb the spread of infection have changed consumer behavior. All right, consumer behavior. That's people. That's pretty much all of us in the country. At once, at some point, if you're a producer and a consumer at the same time. All right. So basically, they're basically saying that consumers have changed their spending habits. Yeah, everything is getting more expensive. The dollar's crashing left and right, and people are tightening their wallets. All right, they're not buying as much stuff as it is. All right, that's most of us who are really paying attention, family. All right. All right, we're switching over to John Williams and ShadowStats.com. All right, this is an especially troubling issue here, family. Looming shortages amid soaring sales versus shrinking production. Unstable and questionable May 2020 retail sales soared on top of large upside revisions to April. Recovering March 2020 activity still down negative 6.3% year to year. In May 2020, industrial production was unchanged versus April. Net revisions down year to year to by negative 15.3%. May cash freight index year to year contractions deepened to negative 23.6%, approaching the Great Depression levels. All right, family, we're getting ready. Most people haven't seen the shortages yet, but the shortages just coming. Most people are no longer accepting U.S. treasuries around the world, and we're going to be starting seeing shortages around, family. So please get yourself together, family. This whole section paragraph right here was about revisions. They're constantly coming up with these numbers, and then when most people are not paying attention after the media headlines, they're revising the numbers, and everything across the board is negative. All right. May 2020 headline: unemployment dropped to 14.3%, 13.4% from 14.7% in April, while May payrolls jumped by 25 million versus a negatively revised April plunged to negative 20.7 million. Yet a massive pandemic-driven distortions and disruptions to the Bureau of Labor Statistics Household and Payroll Survey left those numbers not credible. All right. In April, 2020 trade deficit widened sharply, on track to exacerbate spending pending second quarter 2020 GDP collapse. After the booming into the first quarter, real April construction spending dropped negative 3% in the month. April new orders of durable goods plunged to a negative 17.2%. All right, following March's negative 16.6% drop. All right. April residential construction plummeted month to month and year to year. All right, so across the board, they're going back and they're revising these numbers. They're already negative. They were telling false stories, and they have revised all these numbers just to give the illusion that the economy is good to go. All right, family. All right, and then we look at our final story. Alright, this is coming from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Alright, family. Saudis dumped record amount of U.S. treasuries in April as gold reserve holdings rise. Alright? So sometimes the news is behind because it takes time to get the real news. But once the real news comes out, family, you realize that months ago, sometimes years ago, these stories should have been told. Alright, foreign holdings of U.S. Government debt failed to a 4-month low in April as the COVID-19 pandemic shut down most of the global economy. They keep blaming everything on this pandemic, on this so-called pandemic, family. But believe me, this stuff was coming to crash anyway. All right, U.S. Treasury sales were crashing all over the world as the de-dollarization of the world continues. All right, and it's gaining full steam ahead. All right, foreign Treasury sales eased from 229 billion in March to 177 billion in April, while foreigners bought 10.9 billion in corporate bonds in April, up 3.2 billion in March. They sold 5.6 billion in corporate stock in April from 7.1 billion purchased in March. This is the biggest selling since August of 2019. All right, the biggest sellers by far was Saudi Arabia, who dumped 60 billion in U.S. treasuries in March and April as oil prices collapsed. Oil prices collapsed, and they needed some money. Alright, they were in the cash crunch, they needed money, so they just sold U.S. Treasuries, alright? Because U.S. Treasuries is supposed to be the AAA standard of the world. Alright, but family, we reported that on this channel before that the U.S. Treasuries is now considered the world subprime, the world subprime, alright, bond. Alright, China and Japan also reduced their U.S. Treasury holdings. For total for China, the second largest holder of U.S. Treasury debt shrank by 8.8 billion in April to 1.07 trillion. Alright. Alright, so we're looking at total people just giving and selling off US treasuries, alright family? Alright. So that's gonna be it for today, family. Thank you for joining for another edition of Melanie Got My News. Thanks family for joining us. I urge you family to please be safe out there. Alright, we're continuing to progress on all levels, but don't give up. Let's keep it going, family. Alright. Take care of each other. Please take care of each other. Let's come together, family. Alright. Please keep us together. Start growing your own. Get together, get your own food. Let's get it together, family. Alright, if you take a listen at our other channel that we have, Tolliver Family Sports and Highlights, you'll see that we've started growing our own vegetables, family. Me and my family. Alright. Please take care of each other. Be safe out here, family. I love you. And let's go ahead and get started.